like a dolphin would be, or we're irritating children, or something of that part. They see themselves as superior, and I've got to admit, if you could come to another part of the universe, it, so just say you were a turtle, just as using it as a metaphor, then you put your hand in and grab the turtle, you took his DNA, you put him back. Now that you don't know, that turtle could be a Buddhist, or it could be reincarnated, or you could believe in a water god. That alien wouldn't know, and it wouldn't care, and it wouldn't know about your beliefs or understand about your beliefs, and then just take your DNA, recreate more little turtles, and then put you back. Now, not that it's violated you, taking your DNA against your consent and spread it and put their DNA with it, or what have you. They've not done it for a fictitious purpose. They've just done it for a scientific, what we would call scientific purpose. But then that would call that person, that Buddhists believe in, that would believe that Buddhists believe in turtle, would then believe, is that the next life? Is there a different realm? Is that God? God came to me last night.
Right.
Again, it boils back to your liberal understanding and your order in the universe.
That's why I believe each one of us is individual, because the people that I worked with, and we're getting in the deep end of the pool here, is I can relate to Tommy in past lives because I have memories. I can relate to Tina and her abduction story because I feel like at one point I was abducted. But my main role was being born into a life to have open consciousness where I could remember the family here on the planet, but also have a memory of a family in space. Then, after I got go on a case with my husband for many years that Ahmad's helping me write up, I had this bilocation, is what I call it, because I've studied science in a way that I'm doing the best I can in the neuroscience, or ET science is what I call it, and I put it in today's chapter for to put out there to the world, is ET science is going to be more of the levels, and it is empirical, are those that have come before us. Even if we're just common sense, say, well, I know I came from my mother and father. That's empirical. Something came before you, something of higher consciousness, maybe because you were a baby born with an open mind, however you want to think about it. So it's all philosophy. However, each of us experience our own lifetime, and in my lifetime, I've had some memories of Mu and Atlantis and what we call Lemuria, Maria, but that was after the Lemurs, so to speak, with James Churchwood. But at the same time, I've had these experiences, Tina, in space, and Tommy knows, but these beings look like us, and they were more concerned with how we were going to help them in space, like galaxy protectors in the universe of our quadrant, and they could take you and have you feel just like you're there. So it's very interdimensional, and it was my opinion that they've always came and gone. They said God has always been, and they've always come and go, and they can come down here and take on whatever they want to be. Australian, they go and they learn the language and all that before they come. But they were more curious, Tina, and Ahmad may appreciate this, well, maybe even Tommy, is the fact that why do we do the things we do? They showed my husband when he went to a Volkswagen and he didn't know how to turn the lights on, and he got out with a girl. And if any of you have ever had a Volkswagen Bug, you know that back in the day we always had the lights on the dash. And he got out looking, trying to out in the dark. So they were curious. Then he jumped out of a window when he was seeing somebody else's girlfriend or whatever in Corpus, but he jumped down like a side of a two-story out into the water, and they want to know why he did that. And then they asked him about playing poker, why certain cards. And it wasn't the fact that they knew they're much more intelligent than us. So Tom asked them, why these things? And they just didn't understand. And when he'd get with them at another level, we call it the Supreme Allied Command, and they'd want to talk to him, and he'd tell them that they put their pants on the same way we do. Why were we fighting their wars? I don't know what that sound is. Maybe Tommy, something really close. But the fact is that there is another level of intelligence that can communicate. Now with me and my husband, and I assume with all kind of other people. But the point is they did say they had found us here. which I found very intriguing, but it was like millions of years ago. So, but the thing is that they did exist empirically, and they treated. And I tell you, one person that quoted me was Jim Mars, a famous investigator out of Texas, great author, writer. And he used a couple of things I wrote about in UFO Digest because we were both investigators, but most people didn't know that. But the fact is that Jim quoted me about like we're like ants, and then I told him it was like giving kids the matches, and so he used that. So I did affect some things, whether people know where it came from or the stories that were told, because they may or may not have read UFO Digest. But I started putting my story out there. But, nobody has to believe what I say. It's just like Tommy's saying he remembers past lives back to Atlantis and that they all talk psychically. He can't really prove that to anybody, but to him that's his truth. And my truth is I've worked with people past lives too. However, I've worked with people in this reality that to me they are so much more advanced than we are, plus they have people more advanced than them, which is absolutely amazing. So to me, I worked with the Allied Command, and then the Supreme Allied Command, we would have to wait about 3 days because they had to go through a wormhole to get out to another universe. And they use wormholes in space to communicate, to get the energy through, just like they do the ships. And one thing that is known in space is they can know where the wormholes will appear, but they stay totally clear of black holes. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I didn't know what wormholes and black holes and galaxies were until they taught me. And I'm honest to God. And the first time I ever heard about galaxies was from my husband. I had been an abductee and a contactee experiencer with my family on Earth and the one in space, but you still didn't learn anything. You just had a rapport as a child that you were from two places at one time. So I agree with Tommy that we're not from here, at least in my life. But to have another level and then to have a existence to know there's a supreme, even higher level, how far does this go? And I don't know how to explain it, so I'm asking Ahmed to help me with a story that I wrote years and years ago. I've got 30 or 40 books out there. Well, Tommy's got a few, and Ahmed does, and I'm trying to encourage Tina to get her book out there. But, Tina, I just wanted you to know, to me, the ones, they said, just so you can know, Tina, that the ones that come down here and take people, they're not supposed to in this group that protects or tries to help protect the universes, and said that they're scientific exploratories from another place in space, and they try to keep them from coming in and out of this realm or this quadrant, but sometimes they get through. Now, what they get through, I don't know, but my husband and I asked these questions. Huh? What?
That is so true. When one of them, a few years ago now, and I asked him, would I see him again? And his reply was, they were leaving soon. But, when I saw this huge cigar-shaped thing near Jupiter, that big thing, and he said the others are coming. They're coming soon, and they're not supposed to come here, but they do. And he told me that.
All right. I got to throw a couple things in first. Alien races, all of them, have now when we talk about aliens and I talk about creatures, beings, whatever, from a physical reality or our lower dimensional reality, not dimensional beings coming from a higher reality, which is like angels and deities and demons, but they have a body and they travel in a ship, so they have no feelings. No race has feelings and emotions like the human race does. The first thing is, no matter what they say they are, if you've been abducted, even if you're an experiencer, means you were put on a ship and you weren't asked to come on a ship. They didn't knock on your door to ask if you wanted to be part of it. That's an invasion of soul. That's an invasion of psychic space. Second to that, now, if they abduct you, what do you think they want? Your DNA? I'll tell you the truth. The only thing alien races need is blood, not the DNA. I saw a video and everything else. I could go into the facts that they need that to clone their own race or whatever, but that's how they grow. Greys do not eat through their mouth. They don't have a mouth to eat through, so they absorb the blood through their pores. I mean, I can go into deep things that most people have no awareness of. But here's the other thing. If they come here and they want us and they're taking our blood, they do take semen and everything else, but basically the main thing they need is blood. That's why most people come back. They take blood from them and they bring them back here. They don't take their heart, they don't take their liver, they don't take their brain. Now, awareness of a human being is limited. Wait.
Where are you getting this information from? Because the Greys I worked with could eat, but that's firsthand experience. So please tell people this is your personal experience or where you're getting that information, because I've heard those bloody stories out there. Most of those were to cover up Dulcie. They were supposed to cover up classified. They were false information put out there. People repeated it because they put it in films. I'll mute.
Phil Snyder. Okay, Phil Snyder, the most important UFO story that's based in the United States, one of the top UFO stories. When they went in there and blew up the alien army base, there was 14,000 skeletons. They were used for food for the Greys. All right, they don't eat them. That's why the skeletons were still in one piece. They put them in a vat and they take their essence and then they put themselves in there, and that's how they absorb the food from it. Now, Phil Snyder's not around to continue talking about that. But let me finish what I was trying to get into. When these races come here, what do you think the human race could offer any alien race as far as technology, awareness, and things like that? The only thing that they have, that we have, that they do not have is an awareness of God. Without that, life is just life. We live life to do nothing. We do not change reality. We change the way we live. We change what we play with. We don't change anything else. And if that's what you call a great spiritual life, you can live in that. You can go over and reincarnate over and over and do the same thing. Get another house, get another car, get another girlfriend, have 10 more children, and do the same thing. We don't change what we do. We're creating robots to do everything we do, which will eliminate the human race within 20 years as far as being needed for anything. So mankind doesn't do anything important, and that's why the aliens are using us. It's not here to help us pollinate or defend the universe. When they say an alien race is doing what they're not supposed to, remember, if you're, say we were Venus or Jupiter or Mars, and we had our race there, who do you think is going to get on a ship to leave that planet? They're going to take the homeless people? They're going to take the poor people? Are they going to take the sick people and put them on a plane and send them out into the universe to go discover something? They send their program people the same as who we put in a spaceship are our program people to do what we want them to do when they're there. So to believe that alien races come here for any beneficial reason from the human race, they're thousands of years more advanced than we are. What could we offer them? It's just like us taking an ant colony and trying to teach them to build a city for us. Why would they do it? It's totally ridiculous.
Well, I can tell you what I know.
Go ahead.
Remember Tom?
Go ahead, CJ.
Remember when Tom was alive and he talked about the warring planet, this planet, and he joined the Army and he had so many confirmed kills inside the uniform, inside the military, right? They keep up with your confirmed kills. But he was an assassin. Now, that's him as a human. He separated his life off planet. He's the one that knew so much, and I was, why do you know so much? And I talked to him about Gus. Remember, we had a spacecraft. And it was sentient, and it could come and go back to a main space, a main ship. So he knew a lot of the same things I did, but we were, he was very Kentucky, born and bred in Indianapolis area, Lafayette, Indiana. But he had all this military background, and so did I in intelligence. So he worked S2 Division, Army, and I worked personnel information security on my side, but I was a prior investigator. So we were scaring each other by sharing information that we both knew firsthand, firsthand. I didn't study Phil Snyder. I didn't even know who that was. I didn't know who Dirk Vanderploeg or Kevin Smith or Stanton Friedman or any of those people when I met Tom, except that those names came back from prior Navy in the 70s, which blew my mind because I thought I was only in from 1980 to 93. So these timelines get all messed up. But Tom made me believe because I went and would research it. This was before we had the internet, folks. But there was, you had to go learn. And I didn't know. He was telling me that galaxies were like records back in the day. So I would see in my mind 33 and a third vinyl records, and he would tell me about the galaxies and things like that. And he didn't study this stuff. This was firsthand. This is a